You're welcome to another What We Wish Our Parents Knew episode. October the 10th is World Mental Health Day. And the theme for 2018 was Young People and Mental Health in a Changing World. For that to be the theme, I think it gives an indication that mental health is an issue we need to pay attention to amongst our youths. Judging by the responses we get from participants in our What We Wish Our Parents Knew survey, we realize that even in our society, mental health is an issue. Our question for the week is from a young girl who says, I think I'm depressed. I'm not sure, but even though I would like to talk to my parents about it, I feel that they will think that I'm too young to feel depressed. Now, let me say that depression or mental health issues has nothing to do with age. Stress is a normal part of life, and every human being undergoes some form of stress. Young, old, teenage, married, single, everybody undergoes some form of stress. But since our focus is on the young people, let's look at how parents typically react. My conversation with parents show that a number of them react in one or two ways. They either say, depressed? How is that possible? I mean, what is depressing him or her? I'm the one who should be depressed. I'm the one who has to pay the bills. Or they say, God forbid, is not your portion. Whichever way, the child feels dismissed. So what do we do when our child comes to us or we observe that it looks like our child is depressed? Let me say up front that I have a strong feeling that a number of times when children or teenagers or young adults come and say that they are depressed or mention that they're depressed, they're probably feeling a lot of stress and under a lot of pressure. Now, of course, if stress is allowed to linger for a protracted period of time, then there's a high probability of depression setting in. And depression is a mental health disorder which requires professional medical help. But my focus today is going to be on stress, the things that can stress teenagers, young adults, and how we can help them cope with it. One critical thing is academic pressure, especially when exams are coming. And you see, the reason why they're under so much pressure sometimes is because, unfortunately, as parents, we have inadvertently made them feel that their self-worth is directly related to their academic performance. We honestly, if we're doing this, should desist from it. Another thing we do is we compare them with either their siblings or their friends, and that puts them under a lot of pressure to perform. Another stressor for young people is technology and social media. 24/7 they are connected. We live in a screen dominated world, and there's no way that won't put a person under pressure. You go on Instagram, you see people who are photoshopped and airbrushed, and then you begin to compare it to your real life. That alone is a stressor. Or you see people who are posting all manner of glam and celebrity-like images, and you're wondering where your life is going. That definitely will put anybody under pressure. Another area they struggle with is the issue of body image and body shaming. So there are times that you walk into a store with a young girl, your daughter, your niece, and she feels she should be a size 10. She goes into the changing room, wears the jeans, and finds out it doesn't fit. Her whole mood changes. That puts her under pressure. Again, the feeling that they're not enough. And that comes from society. Society has a way of making you feel that you're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not tall enough. You're not successful enough. You're not rich enough. And that puts anybody under pressure. Financial pressure at home. Parents are struggling. They're fighting. There are quarrels. There's tension in the home. A host of things can cause stress for young people. So is it possible for a young person to be stressed? Definitely it is. What can we do to help them cope? One is to be observant. Because like I said earlier, if stress is allowed to linger for a protracted period, it can end up in depression. And that requires a much more serious intervention. So observe. Are there certain mood changes that you're observing in your teenager? Are they beginning to get very irritable and angry over the slightest thing? Are they becoming recluses, locking themselves in their rooms, not wanting to interact with anybody? Observe. And when you do observe and you feel that, okay, there's something here, then talk to them about it. You want to find out what exactly is going on. You want to get to the root of it. What is the underlying issue? Another way we can help our teenagers and our youth cope with stress is by helping them build mental resilience. Now, what is mental resilience? It is helping them, it is being able, having the capacity to deal with the challenges of life. And like I say, to do life successfully. It comes with the territory that life is stressful and it can put a lot of pressure on your mental health. However, if you're able to cope and deal with those pressures properly, then you know how to manage it. So what are some of the ways we can help them build mental resilience? One is stop solving every problem for them. There's no way they're going to learn problem solving skills if you constantly step in to help them out of a distressing situation. Problems will come. How do you solve them? You see, we really need to step back, and it's important that I emphasize this point. Another thing we can do to help them build their mental muscles is to let them know the realities of life. In life, you will not always come first. In life, you will make mistakes. In life, you will probably fail. How do you bounce back? All these things are natural consequences of life. How do you bounce back? Sometimes we hear our teenagers say, our parents make it look as if they never made mistakes in their lives, as if they never failed. Every one of them always say they came first. This is not real. It is real that you will fail sometimes and make mistakes, and we need to help them know that, so that way they don't put themselves under undue pressure when they do make those mistakes. Another thing we can do to help them build their mental resilience is to allow them to take risks. Of course, calculated risks. But as they take risks, they begin to stretch their limits and stretch their boundaries. We also need to let them know that the world is not a comfortable place. It is not our duty to make them comfortable all the time. We also need to help them to learn how to self-regulate their emotions. You see, sometimes we become too much of a cheerleader, so we're constantly cheering them on. They're feeling sad and we become comedians trying to make them happy. Look, a time will come when they'll be under pressure, and we're not there to do all those things for them. We need to let them know how they can bounce back on their own. I'm feeling sad. How do I get in touch with my emotions and deal with it and come out of it? Then finally, we also need to be mindful of our own mental health, mental state, our own stresses, and how we cope with them. Because you see, it is not so much do as I say, but do as I do. If they observe that anytime you are stressed, it becomes a case of misplaced aggression. You're taking it out on them and you're doing all manner of things, and the whole house knows that mom or dad is stressed. It's not very likely that they're going to really know how to cope with stress properly, because you are their role model. You know, at What We Wish Our Parents Knew, we always say that keep reinforcing values as you parent in a digital age. And this is particularly important when it comes to mental health, because our values act as a moral compass that will help us make right choices, especially in stressful situations. Until I come your way next time, I wish you all the best. And again, I must say, keep reinforcing values as you parent in this digital age.